Giuseppe, thank you for talking to us. We were delighted to have you as chairman at this year's Procurement Indirect conference. What do you think were the key takeaways from this year's conference?
Well, what I've seen coming over and over again during those 2 days of the main conference is that relationships are key for success in indirect procurement. Relationship with the internal stakeholders and relationship with the external one, so with the suppliers. And I think that's something where we are all aiming to get better and sometimes struggling in terms of the internal stakeholder. And actually, this leads really to another key takeaway that comes to me is that internal negotiations sometimes are more difficult than the external one. Trying to get the colleagues from marketing, finance, IT to work effectively with us, to involve us at a very early stage, that's one of the challenges we face. And you know what, procurement professionals have often been very well trained on dealing with external suppliers, so the hard negotiation, and sometimes we struggle a bit more in using the soft influence skills, persuasion and influencing of the internal stakeholder to make sure that people are keen and they understand the value added of working with procurement.
You've been chatting a lot with the delegates over the past 3 days. What, in your opinion, what do you see as the hot topics in the industry at the moment?
Well, I think that's something which is a concern to everyone is which is the impact on the economic outlook of the recent event, the tsunami and earthquake in Japan and the war in Libya, because we were coming from a very strong economic outlook with the index for services in Europe going up year after year since August 2007. I think now we are at a turning point, and we need to see what kind of effect will this have on our business. More down to earth into the day-to-day business is somehow a concern, but also reassuring to see that we have difficulties to get early involvement, we have difficulties to get spend penetration, but this is a concern which is common to most of the participants in the conference, and we got so much out of the presentation and out of the exchange with the different delegates of the conference to try to get a few ideas, a few tips on how to make it better. And even if we may know those things, sometimes, you know, getting the small difference, getting the 1% difference which makes the difference, is this what can bring at least me home with a few practical ideas that I can put in place for my business. And I can tell you that I feel that it's 8 pages of notes of key things that came out of the conference that can be useful back at the office.
To what extent has the conference addressed those challenges and provided practical solutions for delegates to the challenges they face?
I think very much. I think it was pretty much case studies based. We had lots of stories, we had lots of examples. So it was not theory, abstract theory that it's really, okay, I'm working, I don't know, in a legal firm, it's a partnership based, I have lots of stakeholders, not a single person that can dictate. How can I make it happen? And then you may see that, okay, the kind of ideas that have been applied in a law firm can also be applicable in a manufacturing environment, that can also be applicable in an insurance business. So I think that that was very practice-based, and I think that what makes the success of Procurement Indirect is practical. It brings some real takeaways to the people. I had the pleasure to be here since the very first issue in 2007, when we had the first conference, and already at that time the room was packed with people. We had not enough space to put everybody, and once again this year with 260 delegates, we have seen that Procurement Indirect is really meeting a need and has become a reference in terms of the place to meet for indirect procurement professionals.
Giuseppe, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.